bars in a raid. Man, I go hard like Santan.
Hold on, just saw your message in the private chat, Disu. What? Everyone seems fine. What's happening?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, mine's just bare buffering and that.
It's your internet then.
Yeah, everyone seems fine. We can hear you fine.
Yeah, there is a slight delay on this. Is
there?
Yeah. Bro, he's like even frozen on my thing.
I just think he's not moving. I don't think he's frozen.
Bro, this is
no, he's frozen. He's definitely frozen.
Oh, is he frozen?
He's frozen.
Yeah.
He's frozen. Me.
Oh gosh, you couldn't write it. Let's go around and introduce people, and hopefully by the time we get to Disu, he's back up and running. It's a busy pod today, so go around, make sure everyone's well represented. Remind people who you are since I haven't seen you in a while. I'll start with you, Meeds. You were here, then you weren't, and you're back. Some would call it coincidence.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. All over the place.
How are you, brother?
I'm not too bad. I mean, currently in Florida, raining like crazy right now. Busy times, but all good, man. All good. I had to come on.
Good to have you on, brother. Disu, have we got you? Are you live, Charlemagne? Are we live?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Okay, we'll take that as a confirmation. Yeah, what are you telling me, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. Life is good, so I can't really complain too tough.
Thank you. I will not gauge your respect for us by the neck of your t-shirt, because if I was, then you have none. Let me keep going. Julian, how are you?
Hey, look like y'all's been drapes from pillar to post, bro.
Back in the day, like you get one of them insert cheap store.
It's just it's the house.
Yeah, free quid. It's good.
Yeah, bro. I know Antonio Valencia grabbed you up like he did Sterling, bro.
This is from Kanye's first collection, bro.
It's good for 2 free wears. Bro, and then you gotta bring the next one out, fam. Cool, bro. We appreciate you nonetheless, brother. What are you saying, Julian?
I'm good, man. I'm good. In good spirits. Life is good. My team is good. Like, I'm good, man. I'm happy to be on and talk about the future successes of my team and the current successes as well. So, as I said, all good, bro.
MCL, ACL, LCL.
All cleared up. On the treadmill. Julian in 5.
And Tobs, what are you saying, bro? I can't remember the last time I saw you on a fucking pod.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I know it's been a long time. So, been preoccupied.
Convenient your return, though. It's a very convenient time.
What question your timing either?
Nah, come on, I was free, I was available. I said, why not? Let me hop on the pod. Yeah.
All right, let's get into. Obviously, we've had what is kind of, I guess, a curtain closer for the club season with the Champions League final. What a final it was. Let's kind of go around the houses. We also had a secondary final midweek. What's that competition called, Meeds?
Stay calm, baby.
The final was a group stage game.
When I saw the agenda, I thought, I've been set up here.
That's all good, bro. It's all good. So we have Inter, who are making their second final in 3 years, versus Luis Enrique's PSG, who en route to the final had dispatch of the best and brightest of the Premier League. I'll start with you, Disu, because you spent a good few months online tussling with fans in regards to the state of this PSG team. And now you're right in the thing you've done for the last decade, making sure everybody knows that you're right. How are you feeling going into the game? For you, was it a foregone conclusion? Were you expecting Inter to put up much of a fight, or were you expecting kind of what you saw?
Maybe not to the tune of 5, but I was expecting a dominant and convincing PSG victory. I've watched a lot of PSG to know how much of a good team they were, as I told these bozos, and they argued with me. But as Nigel Farage once said, who's laughing now? It is I. I'm laughing, not you. And also Inter, I'm sorry. I have never seen such a fraudulent game. I mean, tie as the Inter Barca one. Like that Barca Inter tie, Hansi Flick has to answer for that. In fact, I need to have a word with Hansi Flick in the summer, but that's for another day. They got smacked for 210 minutes and they still went out. I don't know how that's even possible. It's like every time they attacked, they scored. Barca should have scored a gazillion goals. It's absurd that Inter got to the final. But as I said in the group chat, they owed the football gods a large debt, and the bailiffs came and they collected those in Munich. Do you get what I'm saying? And Inter aren't Barca. Sorry, PSG aren't Barcelona. PSG are actually a very good defensive football team. They defend from the front. They're aggressive. They've got great defenders with speed. They've got good concentration. They've got leaders. They're just they're more well-oiled machine. Whereas Barcelona, they are actually kamikaze. They're like, do you know what? Yeah, we're gonna play this high line, even though none of our defenders can run or are particularly great. But yeah, you may score. You actually might score 3, but we're probably gonna score 5. So we'll see you at the draw. So I was pretty confident that Inter weren't going to be able to lay a glove on them and PSG were going to win. And the game pretty much went as I expected. I think the difference was PSG were just extra clinical this time. Whereas I think in previous ties, they were not clinical. And it's given some fan bases, especially one particular fan base, the fan base that just don't tend to win anything. The XG 2024-2025 champions, Arsenal fans, seem to believe that PSG didn't deserve to get past them because PSG weren't actually clinical in the chance they had. Even I'm sure Julian can attest in the first leg, especially the plethora of chances that they had against Liverpool and they didn't tuck them away. So PSG have been pretty wasteful, although they've managed to score a lot of goals, but they've been the most dominant side in Europe. And I think it was a very fitting end for them to be the team to win in that fashion. And I really do hope that it starts to shift the momentum in football in terms of not only the profiles of players that teams and directors of footballs are looking for, but also how fans view the game. Because we had the midfield that no particular powerhouse, no one who's particularly like defensive minded first, but they all work extremely hard and they're all exceptional on the ball. And then obviously you saw the attack, and probably Meeds could talk about it even better than me. The way they attack presses and harries, they're the best pressing team I've seen since like the City team of 16-17 or 17-18. They are brilliant and pressing. No one's been able to live with them when they've upped their pressing intensity. Like even Arsenal, when Arsenal started off really well, when they upped the pressing intensity, Arsenal couldn't hack it. They just started hoofing it. Like, so they've been able to do this against Arsenal, Inter, City, Liverpool, like Villa, super impressive. And the best team in Europe won the tournament. So I'm very happy about that.
Agree with a lot of that. I want to open this one up to the panel. Please, some order. I'm not going to ask a specific person what would be good to get your thoughts. People are coining this a win for football. I'm putting that in air quotes. And some people are...
No, that's a win. No, bro, that is a win for football.
Hold on.
Win for football, cuz.
Some people are coining this a win for football. Others are rebuttaling with the fact that PSG are Middle Eastern state fund backed, had the highest wage bill on the planet by 100 million plus per year. Where do you guys stand on this particular point? Is it the style of the team? Does the style of the team matter in the way they went about winning it? Do you care about the ethics? Maybe we'll come to a Chelsea fan to get less thoughts on that particular side of things. But generally speaking, where do you guys stand with PSG and how they've gone about doing this?
It was a win for football. This is right. Like it was a win for football on the sole basis that you have to take into consideration that PSG are probably like, they are Middle Eastern backed and all that kind of stuff. But this is the first time in quite a while PSG haven't really fielded a Galacticos type team. Like there was no Mbappe, there was no Neymar, there was no Messi, there was no what was his name? Verratti, the DM from Italy. We're talking like the biggest name. Obviously, we know football, but in terms of like a name or status and who's been there the longest, it's Marquinhos. So really and truly, it's a quite young team, and they did highlight that in the build up to the game, how young the team was. You're talking about Desiree Doué. This is his first season at PSG. Cavaschelli, he just came from Napoli, right, in January. Yeah. So so we know about his CV, and then Dembele, who, granted, we know what his skills are, hasn't had the goals and assists season like this in forever. You know, he's been injury prone for so many years when he was at Barcelona that we didn't expect, even though we know what his talent level is, we didn't expect to get this level of Dembele at this, you know, the height of the game. So I don't think people can really discredit this PSG team. This is a young squad, and even the players that are coming off the bench are young kids. This is not a Galactic Real Madrid bare superstars, man driving Audi every single week. These man, you know, there's a little bit of humbleness.
We say they're driving Mini Coopers, yeah.
They're not driving Kante Coopers.
Mini Coopers,
Kante mobiles, yeah.
But you know what?
Kante's a fraud. Anton said that he sees him in his G-Wagon bare on the ends, man. That guy's a fraud, cuz.
The thing with the PSG thing, the things with the PSG thing that I think people are getting too carried away about. Yes, they're state-owned. Yes, they've got unlimited funds. But I'm sorry, we're football fans. We should care about the product on the pitch. I don't really care. To be honest, it's taken me a while to get back to being full circle, right? Because I'm a Chelsea fan, so I don't really care about funds, don't really care about wages, right? And I got into this little period where I'm like, oh, it's too expensive for this, too expensive for that, too much wages here. But the truth is, and the truth should always be, we're football fans first. So you should really be caring about the product on the pitch and the players on the pitch and the quality on the pitch. So the amount of money spent to get the said players on the pitch ultimately shouldn't matter. It's all about what your team's producing on the pitch, the quality they've got, and how competitive they are with the set quality. So PSG deserve every bit of plaudit for what they've done this season, because the football that they've produced, given the quality that they've got, is top tier. And this is what you want to see in football. This is the pinnacle of what you want to see. And I think everyone trying to downplay the achievement, downplay the success, is mad, because it's not like PSG's journey has been simple from the beginning. You know, it's been 15 years of graph, 15 years of trying to do it multiple different ways. And the funniest thing is, and the most ironic thing is, they've gone back to their core of PSG, going for French young players that have, with the odd superstar, the odd top player from abroad, to help them get over the line. And I think that is what you should really be championing, because PSG tried to go for Neymar, tried to go get with Mbappe, who is again French boy from Paris, local. Tried to get Messi to get them over the line. Didn't work, so they restarted. You know what I mean? And they restarted in a way where I think you need to respect and rate it. Personally, it'd be weird for you to look at it and think, "Oh no, this isn't deserved," or "This is bad for football." I don't see that, to be perfectly honest. I see a fantastic football team that could really crash it on anyone on any given day. So for me, I think this is a definite win for football and a win for the direction in other big clubs, that they think, okay, what are we going to do to put the best product on the pitch for our fans, for our players, and for our team to win? That's it for me.
And it's so, to Meeds' point as well. So, like he said, it's about now seeing how good they've played, building your team to try and match that or even top that. That should be the challenge. And then I think on the point that Disu made at the start, in the end of the day, they deserve to win the Champions League. They did. They, like, more often than not, there's a lot of luck and intangibles that come into the Champions League. And in some cases, some of the better teams in the tournament, they don't go far because for whatever reason, a mistake or
competition, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. But if you look at their progression from the group stages onwards, right, in the knockout games, they've been the better team for I would say all of their games, apart from maybe one game, and even then they still did what they. The second, I'm not gonna get into it because we don't need to debate it. We don't need to debate it. I ain't gonna get into it. But all I'm saying is this: they deserve to win. I compare them to Real Madrid last season. Real Madrid last season, they won the Champions League, but that was a nasty run. Like, I don't think they played well enough throughout the knockout stages to warrant that trophy. But they won it because they got players who can pull you out the mud and just get the game done. Whereas PSG, to Meeds' point, they've literally crashed it on every team they've played. Everything they played. So for me, not just because of the style of play, but because of the fact that they're actually performing better than their opponents for 95% of the games they're playing, they deserve to win it, and everyone should be happy with that.
Agreed. There's a few people want to ask you guys about, get your thoughts on. I'll start with the manager, and then we'll go to some players. So obviously, Luis Enrique, well documented what he's gone through in the last few years. Second treble with a completely different team. He also managed the Spain team at was it the World Cup? Got to semi-finals, so a lot of pedigree. Where do you guys stand with him now? And I'd love not to say that you are not necessarily prisoners of the moment. Does this change how you see him as a manager, or did you already have him on the top table? Is he on the top table now? To get a pulse. I'll come to Julian first because he hasn't said much. Obviously, you've lost him.
Julian, right?
He's a good guy, so I won't fuck Julian. So yeah, I'll start with you, Julian. Where do you stand when it comes to Luis Enrique?
I've always thought he's a very good manager. What he done at Barcelona, even though there is some people that like to put heavy MSN tax on that Champions League, I still feel like he done a pretty good job in terms of getting trophies, which a lot of managers don't do. And one thing I've loved about his time at PSG is that over the last couple of years, I feel like pragmatism in football, especially tactical pragmatism in terms of being conservative and being safe, has kind of been like, that's what you need to do to get towards success. And what he's done with even building this midfield, like, for example, sorry to mention it again, but selling of a traditional DM like Ugarte to Man United to fund the midfield that they have right now just goes to show that this is what football can be. Like, football doesn't have to be this pragmatism game where, you know, you're always putting five free midfielders behind the ball, always trying to be defensive and try to keep the ball. Sometimes just go at it. And it kind of relates to the conversation of bringing back that beautiful game. Like, I love managers that are able to actually use the talents that they got and are able to play expressive football. And I think Luis Enrique, he's probably one of the only ones that's kind of stuck to that over the last couple of years in terms of his actual tactics. So yeah, man, I've always had him at like not the toppest of top tables, because maybe he could be there now, to be fair, because of what he's won. But I had him just that tier below. But with this treble, now with 2 trebles at Barcelona and PSG, bringing PSG their first Champions League, and also doing it after losing probably the best player in the world, Mbappe, you got to put him up there. And even though people did mention the amount of money they spend, their wages, everything like that, like what they've done to get here, it's still a big thing to win the Champions League and to even be consistently the best team, as everyone's mentioned, throughout the whole tournament, from group stages, even from the knockouts. Excellent, man. So yeah, I think he's at that top table now. He's on that spot.
It's weird because he's I remember he was linked with us before we got Ange, believe it or not. He was linked with us, and the perception I got from him was he's a good coach, he plays good football, but I feel like he needs to be at a club like PSG, in my opinion, where you have the funds and what's the word I'm looking for? The autonomy to say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I think they're the type of club, in my opinion, in recent years with him, where they can give him those allowances, they can give him the funds, and they can move in his direction. But then if I compare that to managing a club like Tottenham per se, I don't think he might work at Tottenham. I think we probably play better football, but I don't think he would work because I don't think we have a hierarchy that's suited to his style, his way, right? And that's where I sort of am with Enrique as a manager. I think he's a very good coach, very, very good coach, but I feel like that type of manager for me, it works well at specific clubs at the higher end of the table rather than mid-range or lower end.
Yeah, but why should a top coach be at a mid-range team in the first place anyway?
I'm not I'm not even disputing that. I'm just talking about his
no. I do understand the philosophy behind what you're saying, but I'm just kind of saying, yeah, but same thing with Pep. Like, they have no real business being at clubs that can't do what they want because they're the top guys. And just wanted to not rebut Morayo's point, because it's not Morayo's point, but it's a point that's been presented by a bunch of people about how much money PSG spent and their wage bill. But nobody was saying this last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. This was never said because man didn't rate these. Man didn't rate them.
Yeah,
man have never rated PSG, even when they had the Galacticos, even when Neymar was scoring a goal every game and Cavani was scoring a goal every game and Mbappe was scoring. They never rated them when they got to the semis, when they got to the finals. They never rated them, let alone this team. Like, if we go through all the players, like maybe us, man, that really know ball, like, rate these players, but are we going to pretend that people like Dembele, Cavachella, and Desiree Doué, or / Barcola, because he was starting for a bit as well, or this super front line that everybody, in terms of pundits and fans online, were like, "Oh, this team is so amazing." No, they weren't. With their midfield as well, no, they weren't. I've got a tweet where I was praising them, and I was getting dunked on by football fans because they were like, "This team is that good. They just play pretty football." So for all that talk before, and now you're talking about their wage bill, I just think it's just loser talk from a bunch of people who are perpetual losers in life.
It's
right?
disingenuous.
Yep.
Right? Sorry to cut
Very
you.
disingenuous.
Disingenuous, yeah. Because, like you said, a whole month ago, these guys were apparently food, and apparently a team that you're just going to walk through to the final. Apparently, because they didn't rate half of the players, they didn't rate half the squad, they didn't rate Pacho, they didn't rate Due like that, they didn't rate any of these guys. So now, apparently, they've spent so much money. It's such a bizarre phenomenon.
I've seen people call them a super team. And I just find that so funny. They're calling them a super team because they got packed up all your boys.
So let me get this right. The team,
they're a talented team, but yeah.
I mean, the team that I could be wrong. Maybe I in some sort of world I fabricated this. Yeah, but let me get this right. They did knock out Man City, right?
Yeah,
they did.
Okay.
Well, effectively.
Well, they did. They beat them in the group stages. Yeah.
Effectively, they beat them in the group stages.
No, because they're beating them basically made it impossible for Man City to qualify for next round.
See,
automatically anyway.
Perfect. I'll take that. Yeah. Then they beat Liverpool at some point in the competition in the knockout phase. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they beat Aston Villa, right?
Yeah.
And the team that's complaining the most is a team that finished second. Yeah. But they all said they would rather PSG over Aston Villa. This is what I seem to remember.
Yes. Now they're a super team.
Now it's a super team. Because what they did is they showed you that they're no mugs. Okay. Well, Charlie.
And I want to say this.
They showed you Pepe.
I'm not sure that a lot of people know this, and I'm not going to try and make myself seem like some expert or know-it-all, yeah? But football fans, breaking news. Football clubs spend money. I'm not sure you heard, but they buy players and they cost money.
And I'm sure yours, and I'm sure
read all about it. Read all about it.
What? I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that. What?
And shout out Ant, yeah, because he was tussling and with the Dutch. He was like, half of these players mandatory rate. Like I'm probably one of the only people in the touchline flipping media group that still thinks Marquinhos is a top player. Yes. Man, obviously, I know people like Meeds really rate Nuno Mendes at left back. He's quality. I've always been a big Hakimi fan. I feel like some people don't really care for him. Vitinha, okay, I think Vitinha's pretty highly rated. February, people think he's good. I don't think they think he's amazing. Jean Neves,
new, bro, because not many people are rating Vitinha like that before.
It's true. I'm one of them. I wasn't really.
Yeah, I told them, but now they learn.
Yeah, like, what about at Wolves though?
Yeah.
No, I've seen it now. I won't question it again. Elijah, I'm sorry. I'm stepping down. Don't worry. No problem.
Yeah.
It's done.
Jean Neves is quite new on the block as well. Dembele, everybody said he's washed and nobody wanted him. Kvaratskhelia, that's somebody who's always been rated on football Twitter, so I'll give him that. Barcola, they're still even trying to rate Barcola right now, even though he put up numbers. I still like him. And Desiree Doué, he started to become rated because people saw him stepping on people's necks. So we don't go pretend this is a team full of people who have mad status in the game. They don't have status now because what they achieved, but unless you really watch ball and watch these players and realizing that these players are really, really cold, they didn't have the reputation like that. So all this football talk, I know this talk about Qatar sports washing, it's just some stupidity, yeah. Because if we start to look at the billionaire earners and what they've got ties to and who they invest in, from the American ones and all that type of stuff, it's going to get real nasty. If you look at the history of Bayern Munich and who they're tied to, it gets real nasty. So I suggest everybody has some respect for themselves and stand down. Because if this economic starts pulling the files, it's going to get real dark. Do you get what I'm saying? So let's talk about what happened to the pitch.
This guy's talking about himself in the third person.
Hey, Nomics, you let them go get your stuff, yeah? Run the files, bro. Run the files.
Let's just stick to what happened on the pitch, right? Because man just want to make excuses and deflect blame from a team that just balled out. Like, let's just talk about the ball and think about, okay, cool. What did we learn from this Champions League run about maybe the state of football, or what did PSG do that other teams haven't done? Do you get what I'm saying? And that's a more interesting discussion. And then people try to do the sports washing, these tin pot journos from a country that is anyway. Let me not even get into politics, man. It's just
let's not. We're not. That's you say that for an episode of this nonsense. And this is
But,
actually.
I told them technicians, not electricians.
He needs to create a t-shirt for that. You know?
They were in my mention. I told everybody, no wahala. I'm calm because I know. I said, listen. I told everybody, you're bucket next round. Do you know you're bucket next round?
Yeah,
said,
that
no,
was
no,
that was interesting.
You like Bellingham an 85-year-old Modric. All right, cool. I bet. Right? Yeah. Real players are coming next round. Yeah. And now it's humble. That might be my first ever attack. Technicians, not electricians. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad as well. Yeah.
Hold on, to just come in. What it said. We have had Kvaratskhelia pronounced 5 different ways so far on the pod. So if you don't know how to pronounce his name, just call him Kvara. Regards, Morayo. Thank you. Yeah, so let's call him Kvara.
How you say his name? Kvaratskhelia. That's how you say it. Kvaratskhelia.
Well, obviously, you can, Tobs. You sit in a dark room just pronouncing footballers' names. So let's quickly talk about Inter Milan. Let's quickly talk about Inter Milan, who obviously 2 finals, 3 years, one of the worst weeks or week and a half I can remember. Lost the league title on the last day, but bottling it the week before, and then getting absolutely blamed. And I'm hearing Simeoneans argue is strongly linked to heading out to the Middle East to coach. A word there, many of their players. Can people remember why they liked Inter?
You know what?
What phase is he in?
I liked it. I liked Inter because I think they're like the old guard, right? So a lot of them are very old. So this was like their last dance, basically. And I like them as a team. I like some of their players, but
I like them too.
To be honest, I couldn't really care for that. Hopefully, for me, I didn't want them to win because I always had a bit more affinity to PSG. But yeah, I think they're mudded, man. I think you can't come back from that blamming. I swear you can't come back from that, bro. It doesn't matter. I don't see anything.
I'd rather lose 10-0 than lose how we lost to City. God said, don't worry.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. They lost at 1-0 to Rodri's goal, innit? Yeah. I'm like, nah, man. This is a real nasty pasting, right? And it was a reality check, in my opinion. Because, like you said, Disu, I don't think they deserve to go through against Barcelona.
Same.
I think they played well enough, and to be honest, it's a weird one because Barcelona were crashing it on them. But when it became a time where you have to go blow for blow, they came out on top. And when it comes to boxing, a swinger's chance, right? And they knocked out Barca, and I think they deserve to knock them out just on the basis of if you go, we go. And Barcelona didn't really have that control of the leg, in my opinion, especially when it went up. When they were leading the tie, I think Barcelona was still a little bit too kamikaze, and they got sucker punched, and that's it. It's on them the reason why they got knocked out. But yeah, this Inter team, probably there's no one to really pick apart from their team. Really, you're not going to look at their squad and say, "Yeah, I'll take him." Yeah,
I think
really.
there are a few.
I like Martinez a bit.
Barella, Bastoni.
Barella's very good.
I think he's
Aside from Barella and Bastoni.
Martinez, Laturo.
He's good, but he's not.
Where's he going after Inter?
I think that's where he's stayed.
I think he stays at Inter or goes to someone like a Spurs, I'd say.
They'll love him at Atletico.
He's not coming to us.
That's a downgrade. He can't go into the Spurs.
He's not coming to us.
He
won't come to us.
That's Bio Meeds.
That's not
I'll be
Bio.
real though. The one brother.
Into to Spurs.
That's crazy.
How's that a violation?
Nah, bro.
If he wants a challenge in England, where's he going?
Bro.
Where?
If
I go from Inter to Spurs, bro.
send him to Aston Villa if he wants a challenge in England, bro. I got time.
By the way, I did realize I didn't actually go around the houses. Enrique, Julian gave his thoughts. Let me quickly go around the houses. Tobes, you said you thought he was a good manager when he was linked to Spurs. Where are you with him now?
I still think he's a very good coach, but I think he's probably gone up in my estimations because I think whereas MSN he did it with like juggernauts. This time round, he's done it with like talented, like players who are talented but aren't universally known as talented, like, and he's been able to get them playing such a like attractive like style of play, and he's got them to do one of the hardest things I think PSG have struggled with in recent years, which is work off the ball. Like if you watch PSG over the years when they've had the superstars, what's been the thing that's let them down the most? They bottle it in certain moments, and then the guys at the top end of the pitch, they're difference makers, but it's a give and take, and what they give with the X factor, they take away in terms of like the sort of off the ball dogged work that you need as a team. And the fact that he's been able to get these players all play into the same intensity, the same attitude, whether it's the attackers, the midfielders, the defenders. Like, bro, Pacho, the centre back, he's so aggressive, so front foot. He's coming into midfield, he's winning that ball. Dembele, every single time Sommer's on the ball, he's putting Sommer under pressure. Like, he's converted. He for the likes of Neves and Vitinha, I didn't really watch them extensively, so I'm not going to comment on like this shift in their work rate, because they may have always been workers, but like someone like a Dembele, for instance, like
Neves was always a ball winner. Yeah,
but someone like a Dembele, for instance, looking at the strides he's taken under Enrique, it's like you have to, of course, you give the player credit, but you also have to give the coach a lot of credit there for what he's been able to extract out of the team. Even his decision making, like, again, I was actually in awe. I was thinking Dembele in this false nine. I never thought of it, but like looking at it, he's not making bad decisions. And the stats back it up as well. He had like nearly 90% pass accuracy, multiple key passes.
It's a cheat code.
Bro, the flicks, holding on to the ball, making the right decisions in the final third. Like, that's a testament not just to him as a player, but to the instruction that someone like Enrique is giving him, and the guidance he's giving him on his game and how he can influence the PSG team. So for me, Enrique has definitely gone up in my estimation as a coach.
What I was going to say, Disu, you mentioned one of the best pressing teams since Man City. I personally think this pressing team is probably probably second only to the first iteration of Pep's Barca in terms of the intensity of the press, because I don't even think City's team into 16, 17 was pressing like this. I just don't. I don't think the level of intensity, the way that they genuinely suffocate you from the very outset. And even if you look at their kickoff, they played it into touch. They played it into touch because they're like, we're going to play
you say y'all are food.
Brother, we're going to play this game in your half. This is us. So they kicked it out of touch. You know what I'm saying? So
would you not do that as players?
No.
I ain't having that on my pass accuracy.
No. You're gonna try and keep the ball and then progress.
I'll do that. I ain't having that on my record.
Do you know what that says though? That says that they have so much trust in their press that they will do that. That's what it is. It's basically saying, look, it's literally saying, okay, we know that we're gonna get the ball off you, so we'll give you the throw in, have that, but we're gonna get the ball straight away and start laying shots, and that's what was happening. The amount of times that people were cutting in from the right on DeMarco was getting absolutely toasted. The amount of times that players kept coming in onto their left and taking shots was nuts. So yeah, it's a testament to the press. The pressing quality was nuts. Enrique for me was always an interesting one because it was difficult to really gauge how good he was. When you have MSN, incredible players, right? And even that team, 2016, their pressing was really good as well. They worked really, really hard, but it weren't to this same level. But when you've got, and I think, did they beat up Juve? It was Juve in that final, right? 4-1, I think.
Yeah, Juve.
3-1.
But because you've got the quality of Messi, Neymar, Suarez, it's difficult to really take in how good of a coach he was. And I think he also showed he's a pretty decent coach in the Spain national team. But when he went to Roma, it's like you're not really sure. Obviously, he was going through some stuff, family stuff. So I think it's almost like, for me, a confirmation of how good he actually is to see what he's done with this Paris side. Because, like you said, a lot of them are particularly unfancied. Dembele was, being pushed out the door of Barcelona. Barcola, young player from Lyon, good talent, but no one saying, this guy's pulling up trees. Desiree Doué came from Rennes. Talented player. I've liked Doué for quite a while. And he should have been in the French national team, last season, but crazy that he was left out of the Euros. Vitina again, players that you should see the talent, but they weren't really fancied like that. So I think for me, to see what he's done with this Paris side, it definitely puts him up into probably the top bracket in my view. Because you don't win a treble twice by accident, especially with two different teams. And the manner he's done it this time was an actual destruction of pretty much every team that he's come up against in the Champions League, and it's the strongest from the Premier League. He's come up against the strongest teams from the Premier League. Come from a very stable and structured Inter Milan and destroyed them. And again, the youngest team in the competition, he's done that. And this whole idea that experience wins out, experience this, experience that. Well, actually, no. Talented footballers and a coach with an idea that the players buy into is what matters the most. So yeah, man, that's I can see why people say it's a win for football, and I can see why personally, why people's estimation of Enrique has gone up. Because for me, mine has for sure, because he's definitely just solidified himself as a top coach, as beyond names and players. It's really him and his ideas that players buy into and make them win. So yeah, PSG are going to take some stopping, man. They're going to take some stopping.
I think I saw you already when I was asking the question originally, saying top. But where are you at with Enrique? Where were you before this season, this final? Where are you now? If it's changed or not?
Well, I've always been a fan of Enrique. I think I've argued with Elijah about this a lot. And what really solidified it for me actually was not even the MSN team, because if you've got Messi and Neymar and Suarez and Iniesta in your team, then boy, like you better be productive. Do you get what I'm saying? But it was a Spain team. The football the Spain team played, how competitive they were, and when you look at the players, it weren't this Spain team. And even this Spain team, I won't say this Spain team's like mad, crazy yet, but at least the Spain team's got Rodri, Olmo, Pedri, Williams, Yamal. Do you get what I'm saying? So this Spain team was definitely more talented than the Spain team that he had, and I think they lost in the final of the what's that thing called, Nations League to France. I think they might have got to the semis of one of the major tournaments, but they just played really good ball. So from that, I was a fan of Enrique. I was like, okay, cool. So this to me shows that you're not just beholden to the talent of the Barcelona players and also the Barcelona principles. So you are just beholden, because let's be real, like Barcelona, they've played this in a particular style for a long period of time, and coaches come in and kind of build on that and maybe add a few more bits and pieces and take a few bits and pieces away. So I've always been a fan. I've always thought he was a top coach. But I would say that this has probably raised my estimations of him. Not that I did think he was top, but to me, he deserves to be in that top bracket. And for me, obviously, like when we talk about players, like if Harry Kane never wins a trophy, to me, that does not mean that he's not a world-class player. Like him winning the Bundesliga, to me, did absolutely nothing for me. I was happy for him and shut people up. It didn't change how I thought of him as a player. However, for me, wins is definitely a football team stat and a manager stat. And winning the Champions League with two different teams is not something that's been done by many people. I think Jose, Pep, Ancelotti did it as well. I don't think there's a big list of managers that have been able to do that. And also the way he's done it with the different types of squads, it has to be respected. And especially the way this PSG team played was so impressive and so aggressive and assertive. They all go in. They went to the Emirates. They went to Villa Park. They went to Anfield, and they literally dominated the proceedings for large chunks of the game. And it's very, very difficult for teams to do this. And another, I think, I'm not sure if it was Julian or Toby who spoke about how young the team is. You could see how young the team is because they were making certain mistakes in certain games. Like, for example, at Liverpool game, that's a game they should have won 100 times out of 100. Then you go to the Villa game, I think they won 3-1 in the first leg. I think they went 1-0 up, or maybe even 2-0. I can't remember it ended up 3-2, right? So I think they went 2-0 up. And you can see all the players were like, this is Uber Eats time. I'm trying to leave for something. And they were just flooded. Bro, it was ridiculous. And they were bottling counters. And then Villa hit them with a quick 1-2 sucker punch. And now they're in a dogfight. Do you get what I'm saying? So you saw the naivety there. And then even you saw the nervousness in the first half of the second return leg against Arsenal. But I think Arsenal were really, really good. But then they kind of fought back. So, as Meeds said, this team's going to be around for a long time because they're a young team. And they managed to win the Champions League in their like first season. So
Yeah.
top class coach.
I just want to just note this discrepancy that you guys seem to be saying about that Arsenal second leg. I just want to say this. I don't think Enrique anticipated Arsenal to be that direct with their throw-ins and set pieces. I think that's what caught him off guard. The whole idea that they played amazingly well in that second leg is actually making me sick, because they were just launching it into the box. Like,
no, they pressed them for 25 minutes. PSG got back into the game, and then Arsenal just started launching it because they couldn't compete.
What was happening in the first half, in the first 15 to 20 minutes, was literally giving it to Thomas Partey to throw it into the box. And that was destabilizing them, because they weren't actually playing, they weren't like playing great football or anything. They weren't popping them off the pitch. Let's have this whole situation right. Yeah. Because I rewatched the game. That's not what happened. They were pressing them. Yes. They were pressing them.
But they were aggressive.
They were pressing them. They were pressing PSG, and PSG were kicking the ball out of touch. It weren't a complete pop sesh that they were like PSG were having in their place. No, Arsenal were pressing them. PSG were kicking it off the pitch. Then they'll just launch it into the box. And that's where most of their chances came from. Most of their good chances in that first 15, 20 minutes came from throw-ins into the box, second balls, shots. Let's just have it right, okay?
The left SD.
Let's have it right. A lot of their XG came from them throw-ins, right? So again, citing XG as if you popped them off the park is a whole heap of madness to me. But I just wanted to clarify that, okay? Because it wasn't sitting right in my spirit. I can't lie.
Okay, I want us to move on. So I'll come down to you, Yao, very quickly. Last word on Luis Enrique from your perspective.
I don't really need to say much. I mean, it's been said well by everyone on the podcast today. He's a good coach. He's always been a good coach. I think people need to take into consideration that he had some harrowing personal issues over the last few seasons. So you can imagine the mental impact it had on him. But outside of that, what he did at Barcelona, we obviously know. Disu's completely right. That Spanish team was fantastic, but they were. I think he wasn't given enough time, or he may have actually stepped down at that point. But if he had kept on with them, I'm sure he'd have won something. But what he's done with PSG, yeah, he has to be rated. He has to be up there at the table. No doubt about that.
Fair. Thank you, guys. Let's be quick about this Meeds Europa Conference League. You guys played on Wednesday. You beat Real Betis. Pretty foregone conclusion. Go on, get your bona fides out.
You know what? The trophy itself doesn't really have that much significance. And the first half, really and truthfully, I think Isco was putting on a little bit of a show for everyone. Wavy ballers do that. And I think he's 33, 34. Good performance from them. They caught us with a great goal. Malo Gusto had a stinker. And he rightfully got dragged. But yeah, after the second half, again, Chelsea just amped it up, and their quality showed really, and they put them to the sword. 4-1 was relatively kind when you consider the chances that were missed in the second half by some of our players, namely Nicholas Jackson. But yeah, man, I think just for me, more than anything, it's just a completion of the set that was the most important thing for me. I've been saying this for years. You know what I mean? We won the Europa League twice. Then the Champions League twice. It was quite fitting. But when they come out with this new competition, I didn't think for a second that Chelsea would be playing Conference League. But, the blessing in the skies of United winning the FA Cup last season, that knocked us down into the Conference League. So it gave us an opportunity to complete the full set, you know what I mean? So nothing to really write home about other than, Chelsea first and only team in Europe to complete the full set, win every European UEFA competition. So, and so Chelsea's history and heritage in European competitions is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? People talk about Chelsea like they don't have history. It's mad, especially in European competitions. It's nutty, but we move. You know the vibes. It's just, we've done it. Now we move on to better things. You know what I mean? So next season, Champions League. I think the positive that I'd say about actually being in this competition and being in any competition other than the Champions League is that these young players. I think people will be in the celebration police about these young players celebrating a trophy. These are young players that have not really won anything in their careers. I think Enzo Fernandez, in club football. So Enzo Fernandez won won the World Cup. But I wouldn't say he was a main star of the team. I think he was a good player, part of the squad, and played regularly. But no one's remembering Enzo Fernandez from that World Cup. I'll be real. That was the Lionel Messi World Cup. I think Cole Palmer's won a Prem title, but again, sideman wasn't really involved. Won the Champions League again, sideman wasn't really involved. Super Cup, sideman weren't really involved. I think the only player in our squad, in our playing squad anyway, that's won anything of note is Reece James. Won the Champions League in 2021. So he's the only one that knows what it feels like. And the rest of them, they're all brand new, all very, very young. Again, second or third youngest team in Europe. So them celebrating, I think, is more about, okay, Chelsea have this history of going to European finals and winning it. We can't really be the first team to be a disgrace and let it down. So they got the job done. And I think it holds them in good stead, especially going down and coming back. It holds them in good stead for probably what's to come next season in the Champions League and other competitions. So, yeah, man, it's good building blocks for these lot. Not really much for Chelsea other than the full set. Simples.
Also, quickly, when has winning be something that man has to downplay? It's not even like a random game. They actually won the competition. Like football is actually a competition. You're actually competing and aiming the games to win. So they win something, they celebrate it. Because same way, if they're lost, they would have get absolutely torn to shreds. So for people, I don't understand policing people winning something from people who probably achieved absolutely diddly squatted lives themselves. I actually think it's quite cheeky. So, and there's a particular fan base that every single trophy don't matter. But you
know what it is about.
I wanted to say, Cole, for people who don't understand why Cole Palmer's highly rated, just look at the goals that Chelsea scored, and then you understand. And then you understand why man is rated the way he is.
Bro, I didn't
That's what
even
you
want
call magic in a goal out there.
Yeah, I didn't even want to talk about what Palmer did, because again, people are gonna say it's Conference League, you should be doing that, blah blah blah. But look, it's a final, right? And I've seen Betis this season give Barcelona a bad day, Atletico a bad day, Real Madrid a bad day. So the quality of opposition isn't this rubbed out team. They're all comfortable finalists as well. So they're a team of decent standing at the very least. But Cole Palmer, he just decided literally, fuck it, I'm Cole Palmer, and took the game away from Betis with 2 moments of absolute high level quality that, again, only the best players in the world can do that. Do you know what I mean? And Cole Palmer, for me, has had a pretty bad second half of the season, but you can never keep a player of that quality down because just the ability there is nuts. The pass for Enzo's goal, and then the cross, the skill, then the cross for Jackson, where it literally hits him in the face, hits him on the shoulder because that brother doesn't know what he's doing, to the point where, it's impossible for him to miss. I mean, just magic. So, yeah, man, it's an important trophy for the players, less so for the club. But, yeah, man, I think, the celebration police, especially the guys that their clubs haven't achieved anything in Europe, I find it absurd, absolutely absurd. You can't talk to me about anything other than an Interfairs Cup. What are you talking about? Like, you telling people not to celebrate? Let's be serious, man. It's nuts.
Sorry, Interfairs Cup. I've never heard of this cup.
Yeah, exactly. One of them ones.
Can you tell me what year it was created and when it was disbanded?
Brother, it was disbanded long before. I think it was superseded by the UEFA Cup.
Oh, imagine that. Surprise.
Yeah. So it's an old trophy. So I find it mad that they're policing clubs' celebrations. I think a week before it was Spurs being rubbed out for their European triumph in the Europa League, which is a competition they've won 3 times now, and apparently Spurs aren't allowed to celebrate it. I find it all a bit bizarre from a team that's done absolutely nothing in Europe. It's weird to me.
Fascinating. We're flexing women's teams wins.
Yeah, now. I find that mad. Like, what's going on here, bro?
No disrespect to the women's game, obviously.
No respect. But let's have it right, yeah. I'm not gonna be flexing Chelsea women's treble. I'm just saying I ain't flexing it. Let's have it right, yeah. Like, let's be serious. You get me?
I do remember reading once upon a time a tweet was like, "What would you rather pick $5 off the ground or watch your local women's team win a championship?"
That's fucking crazy.
No comment, man.
Yeah, there's that.
Crazy.
$5 in the bag,
Oh
boy.
my days, man.
This is bad.
Anyway, let's get on to
That's crazy.
because I think
This was meant to be a family pod.
it is a family. I'm
Bro,
merely
you see my family's at $5 a boy.
To be fair,
passing on information that I've come across. Nothing more, nothing less.
to be fair, I do watch women's football, and I've watched quite a lot of Chelsea this season, and it's good there. But the quality is actually improving. But yeah, let's not conflate the women's Champions League with the men's and all the rest of it. Let's have it right, because it don't make any sense. Yeah,
Agree. Let's get on to the latest, because I think as I'm looking around, it's been a busy week for pretty much every fan base on the call. I'm going to start with you, Julian. Obviously, you've had player go out in Trent, and because of the Club World Cup, you've been able to get a bit of revenue for him, which I'm sure you guys will be happy about. I feel that was the biggest issue in all of this, the fact he was going for free.
Yeah.
And you're also linked with Florian Wirtz. That looks like it's a matter of days before it happens. And I've also seen some Hugo Ekitike links. Where are you now with Liverpool? Kirkes as well. Frimpong has come in. Sorry, apologies. So very busy. Obviously, Scott has done all this work without actually spending much money. What are you looking to see from Liverpool to actually kick on, i.e., be again in those top two challengers for the league and to make a deeper run in the Champions League? Are you seeing what you want to see, or do you need more?
This is actually one of the rare summers where I can actually be like, I'm actually seeing the intent to actually want to keep winning and keep the success going, because it felt like in the past that we would get to these positions where we would win the big trophies and we'll be content with our team. When yes, there's a case to be made that, of course, like we was able to challenge again sometimes, and we're able to get the club was able to get the best out of those players at the time, but there wasn't that guarantee that was always going to improve, and we always found ourselves some stumble blocks when we're trying to like retain or we're trying to do something, because always we had that one bit of quality that was missing. But I feel like, especially this summer, we've really not played about. It feels like the FSG side of the Liverpool Football Club is actually really working overtime. You see even them, they're coming out now and they're speaking about how Wirtz, as much as it looks like it was something that was done over the last couple of weeks, it was something that he was in contact with him and his team over like since last year. There was the talk about Frimpong as well. Apparently, even with him joking about with his announcement video, there was kind of that vibe that he knew he was going to be at the club sometime. You can see that even with seeing how the left-hand side has been in our defence. Robertson and Tsimikas this season, they have not been good. That's putting it lightly. Robbo has been absolutely atrocious. That's putting it truthfully. And they looked at in my opinion, one of the best left backs in the league right now. Probably going to be maybe PFA player. The PFA team of the season, Kirkes, maybe. But he's been top, and for what we need and for what it looks like Slot wants to do going forward with this defense, which is kind of being very dynamic. Our fullbacks going forward, having that PNP to also track back as well. We're in very, very good stead. Like the way we're moving right now is like I'm very confident in the fact that
you lot are moving kind of. I don't like how you lot are moving still.
It's serious, isn't it? It's serious.
Yeah, they're moving too official, because I just saw Fabrizio tweeted like an emoji regarding he likes to drag it about Kirkes. So it looks like you can get Kirkes and potentially Wirtz within the next 2 weeks, and that will mean you've added an attacking midfield player, or maybe he might play in the front three, who knows? And you've replaced your two fullbacks already, and now it just means, okay, are we going to go and obviously add into attack, because obviously Nunes, Jota, and all those other guys are a bit in and out. So yeah, the fact that your last game was a week ago, and you're about to wrap up like 3 big transfers, I think it shows that the Liverpool boards do really believe in Slot, and they see an opportunity where you guys can go back to back and push on. And maybe they're learning from previous mistakes where you lot may manage to win a Champions League or FA Cup or a league title, but you didn't re-up or retool, because City were basically doing it every year, just buying different types of burners. 1 year shotgun, next year AK-47. They might get a grade launcher, like they might well do it all sorts. So I'm respecting what Liverpool's doing. I'm not really liking it, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm respecting it still. So I'm gonna need y'all to get Hugo Ekitike though, because I'm gonna need Gyökeres Steel.
A young project, I wouldn't mind it, but it's funny that it's funny that you mentioned that, because it's something that we was discussing in the group as well, that it feels like, and this has kind of always been FSG's intention to kind of always re-up on the team. Like they looked at certain areas like midfield. All right, we can get. Was going to be in for Tchouaméni one time. Was going to be in for this midfielder. We'll look at certain places that we can improve. But there was always that one stumble block. I'm not going to mention who it was that kind of always had faith in the team and kind of went away.
Hey, y'all are nasty. I remember this time last year, you lot had tears.
Hey, listen. After last week, I was like, this is a new Liverpool. You know what I mean? Out with the old, in with the new.
Trust me, bro.
Now we got a head coach, and you can actually see by his title, bro is a head coach. Like no longer have a manager. He's really listening to what FSG's suggestions are. And if I'm going to be honest, history has shown that they've been pretty on the money. Like man wanted Brett Brandt, they got Mane, they got Salah instead. They suggested Mane. We know the list is long. So like,
I mean, we're calling it FSG, but isn't it that Michael Edwards guy who came back in?
They're part of the ownership.
Are they one in the same? So you got you got John Henry III, the billionaire oligarch, and you got Michael Edwards, British accountant, whatever his background is. You might as well just meld them into one.
Yeah, just call them what they are, man. Because I can't lie, we call them the laptop boys, but that's not official enough.
The laptop boys.
From when Mike Edwards had to fly to Boston to talk to John Henry, like, yo, bro, you see this Verts, brother? If you authorize this payment, don't worry about what's going on in your monitor right now. Just authorize the payment. back. You see the return, my guy. I'm telling you.
You brought a cheeky 5-minute comp. Could grab any off YouTube. Just press play and just kept quiet.
I want you guys to know I'm gonna be watching.
You have to be. It's gonna be
no.
We're gonna be making movies. That's what you're gonna have to.
When I shine a torch on players,
don't worry, shine.
They get stage fright.
Shine. You tried to sign on McAllister, and what happened this year? So, boy.
Who? On who?
You tried to sign on McAllister, and what happened? Rose to
the
the occasion.
The guy plays well once every 2 months, and then you look at.
No, he does not. But it's calm, man. You can watch. We'll be making movies. Scorsese. Maybe the sequel cinema. Don't worry about that. Watch.
Cinema.
He's got the Verts comp. Verts.
I'm not gonna lie. One Verts comp, I was like, this is flipping poetry, bro.
The Verts one has had me in space for the last couple of days. I've been so rattled. Because I didn't for a second.
Yeah.
Germany, bro. I didn't think for a second. I thought like that buyer to buy-in pipeline. I thought that was going to be it.
And I find it kind of surprising how like Bayern fumbled that, because apparently he went to the training ground and was like, "Damn, bitch, you live like this." Like he was like, he was not in.
He came back and saw Eric Dyer making scrambled eggs to the team.
I've said that very pit to somebody.
Bro, they said, they asked him, he asked him, so what, you gonna fix on the training facilities? Bayern was like, please are tight. Economy is tight, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Came to AXA, saw the new vending machine, saw the training. I was like, yeah, you know, this is a bit of me. I wouldn't mind a couple years here. You know what I mean? So I like to see it, man.
I'm sorry, Bert, you're gonna have to get put in the pack, my boy. It's what it is, man.
Is that panoramic screen Nagelsmann made them buy a few years ago? That's all the P's right there. That's all the P's right there for the next few years.
I'm to the stadium. Their stadium is peak, bro. They spent all the P's in the stadium. Fam.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Alliance. They put all the money
how
there.
old is that stadium, though?
Yeah, that stadium's been around.
It's early 2000s, isn't it?
It's been around for a minute now.
But it still looks fresh.
Wait, what did you think they slapped all the P's out of one go?
No, I'm like, I think 20 years later we can say they've paid it off.
I don't believe
the Germans are official. I'll be surprised if they're on the Arsenal contract, the Emirates contract, because
they lost a band for band with Liverpool.
How much was the stadium? What, like 600 M? Like
Didn't they lose a band for band with Arsenal though, with Declan Rice as well?
Yeah. Is that wrong with a pussy?
I just made a business decision there, too. Speaking of Tobs and Yaw, when I come across to you guys, obviously you won the Europa League and the Champions League next season. It obviously really you're good there, Disu. It obviously changes your prospects and the kind of outlook on what next season looks like. Rumors going around that Ange is out. Obviously, Tobes, your guy who's close to the Tottenham establishment. Can you confirm or deny if that is the truth? Firstly,
so no one that's a verified like club mouthpiece. So there's typical club journals. No one that's a verified club mouthpiece has confirmed it yet, but it is looking like he's on his way out. First, we had a report from some bogus source called Footy Insider. So nobody paid that any mind. But then that Belgian reporter, that Sasha guy, who's fairly reliable, I would say, fairly reliable, has tweeted something with a couple of spelling mistakes when he was referring to certain people, but still, he tweeted something, and it's actually looking as if they are seriously considering his future. So, like Alistair Gold said that, yeah, they're definitely taking a look at his future this week, but a decision has been made. Then now another guy who's big on Spurs Twitter, Paul O'Keefe, he said that a decision has been made on his future. It's just not been communicated as of yet. So the stuff we're hearing, it does point towards him being moved on. And if I'm being honest, that's the best possible news for Tottenham. It really is. There's no time for sentiment. He's not good enough to take Tottenham forward. And I know it sounds mad to some people saying that because he's just won a trophy.
Don't forget about that. You finished 17th, yep, so we agree.
Exactly. So he's got to go. But I guess where the club are really going to have to be held accountable is what happens after he goes, right? And I'm not just talking about his replacement. Obviously, we can sit here and debate till the cows come home on like who's the best manager, like style of play, this, that, and the third. In the end of the day, what I really want to see this summer is I want to see intent from our board when it comes to the caliber of players that we need to improve this team, right? Right now, the manager talk is important, right? But what I need sufficient guarantees on are you're going to improve the defense, you're going to improve the midfield, you're going to improve the attack, and you're going to improve it with starting caliber players. No squad players, no B grade or C grade options, no 60 or 70 grand a week instead of one. No. You go out there and you sign starters. I want to see Eze. I want to see us linked to Mbeumo, making moves for Mbeumo. I want to see that caliber of player come to Tottenham. That's what I want to see. Or even if they're not going to come, go out and try and get those players, because we ain't playing Europa League this season where the strongest team that are alongside us is Man United. We're playing Champions League where we're going to be bucking teams like PSG. Heck, we got a Super Cup with PSG in what, like two and a bit months. So for me, that's the most important thing for me this summer. Like we'll talk about the manager.
Put my bet down. Yeah.
That's the most important thing for me this summer.
And I guess, Yao, to come to you, I assume you agree. I know you guys disagree a lot, but I'm assuming you agree with Tobes on this particular area. How confident are you guys that you'll deal with the manager situation swiftly, and then you will actually see the money being spent, or is it going to be muchness for Spurs? You got your parade, shut up for 20 years.
I don't like the last part of that, but okay, continue. No, like everything that Tom said was absolutely perfect. I don't actually have much faith in the board. I think the majority of our fan base that were angling for Ange to be or remain because he won a cup are stupid. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I genuinely think, I've said this on our podcast, I think a lot of our fans are stupid and haven't really achieved much or actually know what really competing with the best really contends with. Because man are telling me that he's our most successful manager. And I'm like, bro, success, especially in sports, works on percentages. I know people can talk about trophies and stuff like that, but brother, 17th with 22 defeats. He should have been sacked on the full time. He shouldn't have even been allowed to lift a trophy. Like, I've got no time for the sentiment. This is the same club that Martin Yo was sacked at halftime in a Europa League match. Man came in and was about to address the team and say, yeah, this is what I need you, man, to do at halftime. Heard a knock on the door. Hey, you're P45. We're going to need that very soon, bruv, because you're not going to get here. You get me? So I don't understand why this is such a difficult thing. My biggest problem is we're probably going to sack the manager, which we should have done it earlier. Who the next manager will come in, I don't know if they've even like decided that, which is an annoyance on its own. But it's the players. Like, listen, we've barely made any sort of bid. Man United lost Cunha within 1 week. We're changing this now. Yeah, they tried to get Mbeumo, and Mbeumo was doing I'm an African man. I want to play in the Champions League. Yeah, okay, all right. We'll wait and see. Yeah, Gyökeres. Nobody's put in a bid for Gyökeres, and I don't know why we haven't. Apparently, we were linked to Ryan Cherky. All of a sudden, he's gone Man City. Like, man are moving. There's teams jogging, and we're not jogging. And we're the Europa League flipping winners, bro. I don't understand. Like, how can you go to the rave, finally get a table, and you still got no gal? What kind of nonsense is this?
A lot of that is interesting because I was with you until you said, and we're the Europa League winners. And that's where you lost me. And is that what you're taking to the presentation? No, hello, we are.
We're not even the presentation. Think of it like this, yeah? You mean to tell me, all right, remember in the lead up to us in the final, yeah? A lot of pundits were like, yeah, United will win, blah, blah. They're rubbishing man out, yeah? Our chairman came out and said, listen, you man, I'm not going to lie to you, man, purse strings are tight, yeah? So the fan base lost it. They're like, what? What do you mean? Brother, you just up the season ticket. We've been getting blamed all across the nation. Man, I've been paying money to go to, not me. Other man have been paying money to Man have been paying money to go to games. Man are driving to Newcastle, watching a blamming. Driving to Aston Villa, watching a blamming. Liverpool, watching, just blamming everywhere. You know, the only two teams we did not lose to, the only two teams to not pick up a single point against us were Man United and Southampton. Everybody ate at our table. Hey, Morayo, this is nonsense. This club, you're going to even make me mad talking about this stuff. This club is taking the piss, bro. You mean to tell me, yeah, the chairman came out and said, your chairman, Sir Jim, went on a flipping podcast with Gary Neville and said, listen, I've just sacked off like 400 man. Telling you I've got nothing in the bank, yeah? Nothing's coming through. The credit score is low over here. Our chairman didn't even do that. He read a letter and then sent it out on an email. Said, tell these man, purse strings are tight. We've got no peas. This was before the final. We won. All I've seen is podcasts here and there. Yo, this is what Spurs are going to get in their bank account. Yo, this is what Spurs are going to get in them. Our chairman's like this. Swear down. All right, that's good to know. Yeah, we've made no moves. We're all talking about free agents. Now, I don't have a problem with certain free agents because you can get a few gems, and there are a few free agents out there that, all right, you can move in all that kind of stuff. But we've been linked with Sane. I've heard what Sane wants as a pay packet. Man wants 250k. There is nobody in our club that has ever touched 250k as a base.
Harry surely had to be on 250.
Harry was not as base with bonuses. Probably
with bonuses he got, and that's why Harry was a nasty fiend. That's why he would look at me and be like, "Yo, I'm not passing, bruv. This is 10k if I scored this, bruv. So I'm not giving you the ball." I understand it, but we're talking about a chairman that's gonna go to Sane, Leroy in Sane, and say, how does 180 and starting behind Johnson sound? Brother, we need to do better than this. We need to get moving. Listen, don't be surprised if come Friday, we still don't know the outcome. That's what Tottenham are like right now. It's horrid. The glass, the outside of everything looks fantastic. But what this club is that beanie that you're looking raw. You're buff. And then you get close and you're like, raw. You got halitosis. Your thing is stinking, bro. Like everything. Your breath is foul. This is what Spurs are.
Yeah, just come in. Why are Yao's references always club and women related? Yao, do you care to answer that?
Who's asked the question?
Who asked the question?
I did.
I'll answer it like this, yeah? As it's a podcast full of man, it's probably the easiest reference for man to understand.
You're catering to your audience.
Okay, with that being said, video do this is that one for this yeah, boy, yeah, I'm out, baby. Yeah.
So after Tobs spoke, I felt a little bit more bullish about Spurs' prospects, but off the back of your monologue, yeah, it doesn't sound good at all. Just I'm going to come across to you. Matheus Cunha confirmed today. Personally, I feel nothing at all.
I'm empty.
Personally, I feel nothing at all. But how are you feeling about it? And obviously, there are other links and stuff going on in the background.
So Matheus Cunha, the player, Oh, Alice. Mateus Cunha, the player.
Yeah.
Mateus Cunha, the player. I really like him as a player. The profile is perfect for the first time in a long time. United actually signing a player with PMP, which is important because we have a severe lack of pace, severe lack of ball carrying and strength. The fact that he could score goals is very important to me. He got 15 last year, which is super impressive. No penalties. Outperformed his XG significantly. High level big chance converter. So if he can just literally mirror that production, like 15 or so league goals, to me the move will be very successful. So I was expecting him to come in and score goals for us. And there's no reason why he can't improve on that goal tally playing with United. So I'm very happy to sign in as a player that one of the players that I wanted for that left 10 or left wing position, however you want to describe it. But again, I still feel nothing because we got absolutely bland for the lap by Chelsea, which has had my head on the moon. Because one punk ass guy was telling us that it was like pretty much pattern the week before. So I'm like, okay, cool. We've got a striker I've been tracking this season now, who I really like. The price was great. Age was perfect. I mean, everything just kind of made sense. So obviously we got bland for the lap. Now I'm thinking, bro, who are we going to get next? We ain't getting no Nigerian. So I don't see us getting Osherman, even though I really would like him. And I don't see us getting Gyökeres because I feel like Gyökeres will probably try to go to a bigger club. So the sheer thought of actually having to watch Højlund ball again is driving me insane. And I think what really like nuts the stuffing out of me, was the Shaqiri going to Man City 30 million euros. It was such an obvious deal. He's a phenomenal talent.
Sorry, Disu, can I ask you?
Go on.
Can I ask you, do you think Cherky, like his type of player, is someone that can shine at United, and that United is the right kind of situation for him?
I think
that's nasty.
Players like Shaqiri are the only players that do well at Man United because they're system proof. So the players that have actually managed to perform for United, either in patches or consistently, are the players that are just so gifted. It doesn't matter what's going on around them. Like Pogba didn't really matter. I could get the ball and just play you a through ball from 50 yards. It doesn't really matter. If you look at what Martial and Rashford were doing, it weren't like they were getting cutbacks and tap-ins. They were making goals themselves. Bruno the same way. He who should not be named the same way. Now we've got Ahmad, same way. So the players that tend to do well at Manchester United are the Mavericks, the people that have X factor, the people that can kind of make something happen themselves. People who are like very smart players, know where to be tactically, make the right decisions, right place, right time. They're the ones that come and fail. So Van der Beek, Sancho, these type of players come here, do diddly squat. Like the people who do stuff for Man United are the people that can get drigging on their own. So Shaqiri, he's not the fastest, but he's quick enough to get past people. Stupendous feet, both feet, strong, creative, can shoot. I don't see how that fails anywhere. All he has to do is just play. I can't imagine a world where Shaqiri goes and doesn't perform. It was like how people weren't really rating Eze until recent years. I was like, Eze is the most obvious quality player. I don't know what you're looking at. If somebody could get the ball and go past other professionals that don't exist, that person's probably good at football, right? So I think Shaqiri is going to be a great signing, and 30 million euros, Morayo, I think is right in our price range as well. And I was thinking that if we could offload Bruno, inshallah, to Al Hilal, like just replacing him with Shaqiri for 30 million euros is about like what, 24, 25 million quid. It's a no-brainer. So
why
to
do
me,
you keep saying his name like that?
What?
Cherky. Why do you keep saying Shaqiri?
Well, how do I say his name?
Cherky. Yeah.
That's like it's called Cherky. Okay.
Cherki.
Okay, I'm not from Morocco, where the fuck he's from, so I don't know. So Cherky. Okay, thank you. You've educated me. Thank you very much. So Cherky, beef jerky, the lap, beef jerky, the lap, and Cunha could have been a realistic summer for us. And then with sales, we could have like maybe like added to other areas like goalkeeper, centre back, and midfield. But now I'm just so pessimistic.
Wait, you actually are getting a new goalkeeper?
No, I think we need one, and I think Amrin wants one. Whether we're gonna get one is another story, because us losing to you bozos has completely tanked us. That's like a 200 million euros thing.
If you stick with Onana, I'm saying this right here, right now. If you stick with Onana, what that guy has already done for black goalkeepers, it's going to go to a new level. If you think it's low now, it's about to reach the 7 depths of hell. This guy is shocking. I've never seen a goalkeeper just offer you the goal the way Onana.
So you didn't watch David De Gea?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. You know,
What
because
do
you
you
know
don't
the
do
hair.
that? What
You know,
do you
you know
do?
the hair wouldn't have done half the things
No,
that I wanted.
I can say as someone who's eating off of David De Gea, like, well, like,
That 7-0 versus
Yeah.
Liverpool was an XG of like 2.
it was crazy. You were scoring goals that didn't need to be scored. Like, when some of those goals went, I was like, really? Like that went in. So that peak. I can't lie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you, and I agree with Disu that a new goalkeeper is needed. But the ramifications of not winning that Europa League final at all in all a roughly £200 million windfall was completely recalibrated our summer plans. I think it was probably a big part of the reason why Delap didn't end up coming to us. He was, like Disu mentioned, at a great price point, proven in the league if you care about that sort of thing. Yeah. Now we're going to have to jump to another price point with players who, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. I think some strikers have that attribute and ability to just kind of make shit happen. And he was at Ipswich, being an absolute nightmare for defenses. Some of the guys we're talking about have come from different leagues, less physicality, but we have to get somebody because we can't do another season with Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee as our number 9. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, Bruno going would be great because that would recoup a lot of money for us, but he would have to be replaced because he does provide the lion's share of the creativity and chance creation in this.
What would your midfield be once he goes?
At the moment, it would probably be Ugarte and Mainu.
If it was up to me, if Bruno goes, I'll try to get in either Wharton or Baleba. And having Wharton or Baleba along with Meno, I'm very comfortable with that midfield too. And then obviously I want to have either get a sick wing back or sick like right turn. But I'd ideally like to get maybe like Semenyo to play or something like that. That's fast, powerful. If they get the ball on the edge of the box, they can do something with it. Okay. Right, it's like another attacker at wing back. So we have a proper, and then we have Ahmad as the 10, and he can take on the mantle of Bruno's creativity. Now he ain't got Bruno's passing range, but he's a better decision maker, and he can just run with the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, so with even Bruno even existing, it's still a tricky situation because where do you play him? Do you play him in the front three or do you play him in midfield? Some games in midfield, if a team's just sitting back, Bruno can get his game off, definitely. Apart from the Spurs game, that's the day he decided to not get his game off. But if a team is also playing, Bruno's pressing decisions are so bad. He gets bypassed so easily. The Chelsea game was just a real disgrace from him. So, and again, it's not really his fault. He's not a central midfielder per se. So, yeah, we've got some tricky things like to do. Honestly, selling Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, and Bruno this window, and Garnacho, we can have a proper rebuild. But then again, I'm not seeing us Morayo linked to many players outside of Brian and Mbeumo, and that's really it's kind of Victor Gyökeres. I'm not seeing us linked to any centre backs. I'm not seeing us linked to any central midfielders. I'm not seeing us linked to any other new, maybe potential wing back options. So I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever we got to do it quickly because they need to be ingrained in the team, move, settle their families, and we need to hit the ground running next year.
You can't allow Rashford, Sancho, and Garnacho in terms of sales. You can't allow that to drag through the summer. That will be detrimental. That will. If there's anything that's going to kill United, it'll be those three. Not if they're not gone by the mid part of say, maybe even the first week of July. If they're not gone by then, I could cause.
Yeah, I think Sancho. There was talk about him renegotiating with Chelsea, and I think hopefully they can come to a conclusion because if he has any sense that he'll better just stay there.
You don't want to.
Yeah. And then that will mean that's a cool 25 million in the pot. I'm not sure what his book value is, but that still might be a loss on the book value potentially. How long have you had Sancho for?
Probably. Was it a 5-year Connie that you signed?
Yeah, we usually do 5+1, innit?
Yes.
And
Sancho,
then
we signed him for what, 70
Anthony,
million?
I think will be difficult because Betis want to keep him, but Betis ain't got peas. And also Rashford, he really wants to go Barcelona. You know they're going to try some broke boy thing where a loan of obligation when really and truly we need the peas right now. I think Garnacho is our best bet for selling a quick sell conclusion because I could tell Aram can't stand the brother. And obviously there was talk about him going in January anyway. So hopefully we can get that Botox Boza out of here as soon as possible, and then hopefully Bruno is shortly behind.
Yeah, so a lot up in the air here, obviously. Speaking of Sancho and his next employers, Meeds, you got a nice little pad for him in West London?
Fuck that. Everything I said he was, man. Everything I said he was. Like, what a waste. What a waste. I think he's got qualities, but he's just too much of a coward on the pitch to really take responsibility. And yeah, I want to see. I can't wait to see the back of him. If we have to keep him, it's like I said to you guys before. I think Chelsea might keep him just because, from a mental health perspective, he might be finished if we send him back to Manchester, brother. I swear to God, he might be actually toast. I'm serious. You send him back.
You know what? It's so funny.
Finished, bro.
I think you're right, and I think it's so funny. A few things are so funny. Him celebrating you guys getting Champions League like he was guaranteed.
Bro,
Him being on the phone after the Conference League final, and someone's recording. He's like the phone. You're on the phone. You're squeezing.
Bro, he ripped off his shirt.
I'm talking to agents right now, so like when these men are watching, they're gonna think that people Dortmund don't want him. Dortmund don't want him. Gone.
He ripped off his shirt, bro. Like that. Like I'm here, bro. He ripped off his shirt.
Yeah, he's staying. Like I don't want no rubbish. Put the 25 million pounds,
bro.
Yeah, put that in the bag. Let's crack on. Obviously, you've also secured Liam Delap. You're linked with Hugo Ekitike. You got Esteval. Is he coming in this summer? I don't know how it works with Esteval this summer. What more is there for the Chelsea?
So yeah, Esteval's coming in. Andre Santos is coming back from Strasbourg loan. Who else is there? We've got a young player from Asuko coming in as well. So he's in the Caicedo mold. So our midfield, to be perfectly honest, we're quite good there. I think there was still talks about Enzo Fernandez going to Real Madrid, which, you know, if that was to happen, I wouldn't really care, to be honest. I mean, good player, but I'm fine with our midfield with him or without him, if I'm being completely honest. Really good player though, but not really fussed. Yeah, Ekitike is very interesting because I've been a big fan for a number of years now. Still needs some polishing, but I think he's got the makings of a really, really good 9. We're definitely looking at a left winger, a right-footed left winger. The links to Garnacho are making me physically sick, but they're stabilizing for now, so they're not looking too mad. Who else? I'm trying to think. There was Rodrigo links, but apparently he's staying at Madrid. Bino Gittins from Dortmund is an option. Nico Williams is also one. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a weird one. I think Chelsea don't really need that much. I think there's still a few things up in the air, like Mudryk, his ban. Don't know when that's gonna be resolved. Yeah, the Sancho situation that needs to resolve itself. I think Nicholas Jackson probably will be sold, or Chelsea are looking to move him on.
Top 5.
Oh yeah, top five according to Disu. So he might be moved on. But yeah, the Delap signing I'm happy with. Good player, been a fan. Remains to be seen if you could translate, you know, his goal scoring capacity in a side that, you know, plays up against teams that defend deeper. There isn't that much space to really transition on. But good enough player. Happy he's here. Obviously, he fits with the current group, current profile of age. A couple of former City teammates that are there as well. But yeah, I think we need another 9 for sure. Looking at selling Christoph and Nkunku. Yeah, so there's a couple of bit of moving parts, man. So I'm intrigued to see how it all kind of lands, to be honest.
Yeah, it's early. I think apart from you guys, Julian, everyone's still kind of feeling their way through, talking to players, seeing who's available, trying to ship that dead wood, etc., etc. Things I think will really come together in the next couple of weeks. When does the Club World Cup start?
In 2 weeks, 2 or so weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, I expect things to move before that, a little bit after that as well. Let's quickly run through our awards. I guess our last one for this season, per se, depending on how you feel about the Club World Cup. So the first one is a Get Big Sam in as defensive coach if he ain't managing award. I'll loosen the range. Doesn't have to be linked to this week because I mean, if it was only so many teams played, and the answers would be quite obvious. But shouting out managers for positive, negative performance. I'll start with you, Tobs. Who have you got as your Get Big Sam in as defensive coach if you ain't managing award winner this week?
I was gonna go with Enrique. I think I'll stick with Enrique. Obvious one, but yeah, winning the Champions League, winning another treble, easy for me. Enrique is my nomination. Yeah.
Thank you. Julian.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Enrique as well.
Yeah, let's just stop it there. I think you're all gonna say Enrique. You're all gonna say Enrique. Yeah. Oh, you're not Disu.
I'm not.
Oh God.
Nope.
Who you say?
Arteta.
Wait, sorry, is this positive or the bad one?
It can be either.
Oh no, okay, no. If it's either, I can't lie. Yeah, Inzaghi. Yeah, you need to look at yourself in the mirror, brother. Like that was crazy blamming that you go in the Champions League. Like, I've seen blammings before, but in the Champions League final at that level, in that manner, that is something where you seriously have to like look in the mirror and be like, brother.
You ain't seen that before. We literally haven't seen that before. Nobody's lost by I think more than 4 goals. Yeah, I think
four,
even,
four.
Yeah, it was like, but that was like in the 60s, like the Real Madrid Di Stefano days, like 7-3 versus Red Star Belgrade or whatever.
And some black men couldn't play football like that in Europe, so
I
can't, bro.
The young Ajax squad did it to AC Milan, so that's probably a turn of history. But
yeah, facts. Is there anyone who doesn't have Inzaghi or Enrique as their manager of the week?
Well, I've got one. Sam Presti from the OKC, my brother. You know what I mean? Great setup. Listen, Paul George, you've changed my life. Look what you've done for us. So Sam Presti is my positive one.
Nasty. The Paul George agenda is. Listen, I ain't the biggest Paul George fan, but that agenda is absolutely nasty. Who's the OKC coach, Julian?
I don't know his name, to be honest.
Don't fucking kill me. Don't fucking
that's crazy.
I am dead. Let's
that's crazy work.
If they ask you, it's Mark Dagnall, yeah? Don't say I told you. Next one is it's not double denim. Again, it doesn't have to be specific to this week, but moment that had you rattled. I'll start with you, Disu. You're usually a gentleman that can think somewhat outside the confines of the box of the last 3 days. So yeah, who have you got?
Oh, moment that had me rattled. Definitely when I saw the lap news that was like a double barrel shotgun to the chest, bro. Just
back there for the week. Because I don't know if it's across 2 days because I haven't been on my phone this much this week. But there was definitely a time when I saw a message, he's going Man U. You saw that message, you circulated it. A few hours later, I don't know if it was Meeds or something. You might want to check your bona fides, bro. I'm hearing these. You might want to check the Ornstein bomber. Yeah.
Ornstein.
24 and 48 hours.
Clapped him out of here, man. Good. Good.
Yeah, that proper rattled me. And I'm trying to think of anything else in the football world. What's been rattling me in the last few days is the Dorcas Real Madrid fans, yeah, and other just random losers who are GNA obsessed, now saying that Due is now had a better season than Yamal. He's been better than Yamal. So I've never heard this debate until yesterday. So he scored 2 goals. He was brilliant yesterday. Due is a brilliant player. But could we just stop? Like, how can you consume football like that? Like, that's just a very strange way to consume football. Like, it's just weird. That just had me rattled. I was thinking, wait, what? What people are doing this? You've watched your mouth play and you're doing this? Like, that's crazy stuff. But and also, to be fair, the Arsenal fans have been rattling me because this level of stupidity is truly baffling to me. From the crashing out because Thierry Henry said, "Could we win a cup in 5 years?" I didn't know that was meant to be a hot take. What? No finals in 5 years? Is that a hot take? Crashing out on Henry, rubbish in every single tournament tournaments that they can't win, and now they have finally won a tournament, the XG Champions 24-25. That type of stuff has been rattling me. So yeah.
Fair. Tobes, not double ten. What's rattled you this week?
To be honest, there's a couple. So the first one was my Isco and Caicedo prop at halftime of the Chelsea game. So I made a statement, and it was going so well. Caicedo wasn't even playing bad, mind you. Isco was just.
You did a bad
You know
thing.
what?
You
I just had to,
Caicedo for no reason.
Just had to throw something out there, just to
Put something on the grill. Put
Yeah,
something on the grill. Yeah, I hear you, bro.
So of course, as you can imagine, when they flipped it and he scored that goal,
yeah,
the amount of people that were quote tweeting me on my head top was crazy. You know, when you're being quote tweeted so much, I just had to put it on mute. Say mute, close the tab.
And it's like some people are laughing, so insulting. He's like, do I start responding now? You know what? I'm gonna crack on with the rest of my evening.
Yeah.
You can't hear you. Yeah.
Do you know what the funniest thing is, Tobes? Your comment about Isco and Caicedo was so funny because Caicedo won the ball in that tackle, by the way. And then he won the ball, and then he's like, the only way you can stop Isco is by fouling him.
And you know what I called him as well? Because he died. I called him Bleach Boy because he dyed his hair blonde as well. So
yeah, it wasn't.
Beautiful, man.
So they crashed it on me. So that was one that had me rattled. And then the other thing that's rattling me, and I don't know if y'all will agree or not, but I'm tired of seeing Spurs fans say it is a disgrace and we just lose our emotion if they get rid of Ange Postecoglou. It's a narrative that certain sections of our fan base are pushing, and it's genuinely making me sick. One guy even used the word saying punishing a man for winning. That's what they're calling this now, punishing a man for winning. I said, what? It's doing my head in. So yeah, that's another thing that's rattling me. So those two.
Cool. I'll come across to Yao just to check if he's also been rattled by the things you've been rattled by, or if he's got anything else to add to the list.
I've been rattled by the fact that, I've seen Tobias get on a particular amount of podcasts with other Spurs fans, and he hasn't crashed out the way I expect him to crash out. Like, what happened to "Can you see my veins, please," Tobias? Yeah, like
he's a married man now. He's a different. Yeah. He's in a different phase. Phase 2 Tobes.
No, I don't care, bro. Because he's absolutely right. Like, our fan base have been like, that's one of the things. There's been a few things actually. This double denim thing is quite good. So first, hold
on. Al Hilal now believe an agreement with Bruno Fernandes is close after a week of positive meetings.
Inshallah. Who's the source?
Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs.
He's not liked, but he's decent.
Yeah.
Finish your thought there, Yao.
I used to play some rhymes like this to shine like this in the back of the radio.
I had to lose like that to shine like this.
Listen, you man are at least singing it at the right time, because I remember when Tobias sang it for Richarlison.
Booger.
It's not fucking confirmed yet.
Right,
relax. It's not confirmed yet.
Let me out.
You know what? Because of this good news, the good news that United have, I don't even want to say the thing that I was going to say, but to be honest, one of the things that pissed me off this week was I don't even know if it was a parade. I don't know why they put Man United players on an open top bus. That drove me up the flip. That pissed me off so much. I don't know what it was for.
Yeah, motion. That's it. That's what Southeast Asian motion looks like.
Okay, safe. Yeah, because that was crazy. And probably the last thing that has been pissing me off the most is these Arsenal fans. Man, look, I understand that things haven't gone the way that you wanted it, but bitterness will not suit you well in life. Yeah,
well, listen, do not let the thought form from anger.
Listen.
They are really
that was on bar, you know.
They are embarrassing themselves right now.
Look, since the first leg of PSG, they have been crashing out. And you know what?
They turned on their own legend. They turned on their own legend. You know how you turn on your own legend.
There's two camps here. There's the man that are like, hey, yo, come on. At some point, we got to win. So you got like Dan Coos and Jide O Justice, and then you got Bear Arsenal. Then you got the Arteta sexuals, Leo, Yebby,
Sexuals.
Lewis, Leroy, German, and he's a head lieutenant whipping them boys. I don't know how they let a 5'1" German poodle, run big men with families and businesses, bro. He's got them in check, bro. Man can't even say things.
They can't step out of fucking like he's got. There was a time when Chris Paul moved to the Spurs, for the first couple of months, that he had that second unit running like the Navy. That's how German Dan runs them out to sexuals. He has them boys running like the Navy.
Well, I'll see Leroy tweets that our screenshot will be gone. I said, nah. Remember Enrique Corleone? They massacred my boy. They massacred my boy.
Hey,
I've been seeing analysis that I've never seen before. Like, after a team won the Champions League, man are bringing out XG. I've never seen analysis. We beat this team on XG.
And Toby and Yaw can attest to this. Shall I tell you why these punks are disingenuous pansies? Because when around December-ish times, when they were trying to pretend that they were, and even Germans didn't know, tried to pretend that they were a better team than Liverpool so far. I was like, they scored more goals than you, they've got more points than you, they've conceded less goals than you, they outperform you in XG for goals for, goals against. And I said the majority of XG come from set pieces. Oh, we don't care about XG. We don't care about XG. Now you're trying to lift up. We want an XG when they bounced you out. This
also might add the same club at the start of the season when the open XG wasn't banging like that. They were there screaming, Dark Arts FC, making such a joke of you. So you man want to now, when things are getting techy, you got nothing. You want to talk about XG? What happened to Dark Arts FC? What happened to Set Piece FC? What happened to You're the one.
The truth is, Julian, they were never happy with that. They aren't happy, but they have to present as a unified. They are not happy. It's not going well. I've seen the Liverpool because last year we got more points than they got this year, so we're a better team than Liverpool. I've seen all sorts of shit.
It's disgusting. Even man like Don Robbie, Tobias, you're my brother, but there has been rumors circulating that he's your father, but that's for another day.
Please, man.
Yeah,
there's no reason for that.
Even Don Robbie, like the part that pisses me off is how can man rub out the Europa League when your team has been there and struggled, even got like buckled in Banku.
Rubbing out competitions they've never won.
And then he's celebrating women's. Then he's celebrating women's Champions League. Bro.
Looking down on competitions they've never won. I
haven't spoken on it yet because I don't think somebody like myself has the necessary decorum.
You're right
to speak on it. But how they've been going about the Champions League has been making me so mad. But I can't speak on it because if I say what I want to say, it's going to be very dark in it. But I've been watching, man. I've just been observing, man, and I'm thinking, nah.
It's shameful. It's to the point now where I'm looking at next season for them. I'm like, you just win, like, so you can just shut up at this point. Like, if it takes that, then just like
piss off. No, don't do that, Julian. Lose more. Like, I ain't got time for it. Like,
no, I want that.
This crash out. I need to see this crash out yearly. I need to see.
To be fair, it's not the entire fan base. Definitely divided because a lot of fans are now fed up. They're like,
it's pockets.
Come on.
Definitely pockets.
Yeah.
Because, like, what are they fed up with? Because really and truly,
because they're like, hold on. I don't hear about phases and this, that, whatnot. I'm seeing other managers come in and change the team's fortunes in a lot quicker time period. Mm-hmm. City fell off this year. This is Slot's first year, and he's won a league, Champions League, and they're thinking, yo, we've got a good enough team. We spent enough P's. Why can't we be the team to win? And I've got to remember, they've seen their ops. They've seen their mortal ops win Europa League. They did Europa League twice, 3 times in recent years, and they got blammed every time. They've seen Crystal Palace win a cup. They've seen Newcastle win a cup. bro. And I think
And get beat by Newcastle.
I think bare teams. I think quite a few teams have been in Champions League finals. No, not Champions League final. Like almost every team has been in the final apart from them in the last 5 years. Newcastle have, Palace have, Leicester. I think Leicester might have been up there. I'm not sure of how long the FA Cup was.
I think they were FA Cup. They lost to Chelsea, I think. Or
no, yeah. When Leicester beat City. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Spurs have been to finals. United have been to 5. City have been to quite a few. Liverpool have been to a few. Chelsea have been to at least 2. Newcastle's been to 2. Like a lot of man have been to finals, and they haven't.
Wait, have West Ham been to 2?
Yeah, West Ham. Yeah,
conference final, isn't it?
Did they get to the Europa League final?
No,
they lost in the
semis. They got semis.
Europa League semis. Yeah, so I mean, I can't really say much. I don't think anyone can say it much better than you just have there, Yao. I think it's a sentiment the whole panel echoes. Julian, any moment had you rattled this week? It's not double denim, brother.
Why? I've got 2. The one that had me rattled the most was when I was watching the Champions League final with my lovely missus, and the PSG the third goal went in, and like I was like, oh yeah, good goal, and she made a comment that rubbed me the wrong way. She was like, yeah, I don't see goals like that in the Premier League. Like, why doesn't that happen? I was like, wait, what? What kind of analysis? What's going on here, bro? Like, since when were you like a pundit? That's the
She knows what it looks like. She knows what it looks like. I'm afraid, Julian.
Yeah, apparently so.
You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's a discerning woman, and that means you're in fucking trouble, my brother.
and the second one, to be honest, it didn't really have me rattled, but I was just like, oh, raw. Like, people can be really shameless. Is seeing like fans that rated Wirtz more than Shirky before, and then the moment that City pulled out, that's when they were like, yeah, you know what, Shirky's more talented than all that. It's like, bro,
the game's a game, bro.
The game is not. The game's nasty.
Game, brother. You know the game. Come on, you ain't new to. I seen you. Man United are still on 3. I wanted to smash a guitar over your head. I don't want your thoughts on what we're doing. All right, we're in 15th in the table. Nothing's going right. If we're in Southeast Asia to make a couple mil to keep a few dozen people on the table,
Southeast Asia like the Jackson 5. Are you taking a piss? If they go out there and dance for your uncle, crazy.
And that was another moment as well.
I see Xerxes going out for a young Lebro grill at 3 a.m.
Nah.
Yeah, when I thought that, I said, you know what? We're cooked. They got Ahmad's doing middle fingers, but not even the normal middle finger, the gangway. I said they turned my good Muslim brother to a YN. No.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. I woke up like, I think whenever you say Thursday morning or something, I saw, oh yeah, Man United's team against Hong Kong, and I was like, bruv,
we're now playing tax evasion FC.
Let these men rest, bruv. Like shit. Like
we're in Hong Kong for a week, so actually, statute of limitations wise, we can actually remove 20% of our expenses this year and file them in China. And therefore, we free up 100 million.
A late submission to it's not double denim, yeah?
Yeah.
Because obviously I know we're playing Hong Kong, yeah? I just see a screenshot on Twitter, yeah? From SofaScore. Hoyland off, 45. Chida Obi on, 45. Chida Obi goal, 49. I said that. I said that.
I said
that's not shame. Bro, scored in 4 minutes.
The game's different. I said we've got Houston, we have a problem. Cool. All right, next one is the agenda of the zero agenda of the week. I'll start with you again, just because you're good for an agenda. Some will say you grew up on them. What's your current agenda you've got cooking?
Okay, my current agenda I got cooking is Checkery over Wirtz. That's number one. Checks over stripes. Checkery over Wirtz. That's number one. Just Wirtz in general on what you do. Just in general, because it's not personal, it's just business. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I actually had a
was that Chappelle skit? Why? Fuck him. That's why.
I actually had one that's kind of a bit left field, but I'll remember it. But yeah, those are my main agendas cooking up for the summer, and also Manchester United. What's my man's name? Sir Jim. Watching you, bro. Just release the cash.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's what's Bruno Fernandes. If you take the Al Hilal bag, everything you said about winning all that shit is cap. It's cap.
You're gonna judge a man for taking £700,000 a week, a signing bonus of like $35 million. I can't be mad. It's like Liverpool fans getting mad because Trent said Liverpool lifer at 21.
I think he's doing the right thing.
Leave us. He said he'd never leave us. He's a rat lad.
Yeah, I think he's doing the right thing. That does not mean I'm going to use it to my advantage.
Fair enough, man. I understand. Julian, what agendas have you got cooking, brother?
I play my Uno reverse card. Shirky. Because and this one is a nasty one, yeah, because he's my type of baller. Like that Samir Nasri bent off, or like that French Arab
North African. Yeah.
It could be, if you don't watch his diet, it could go left. If he does, it could go right. Those are my type of guys. You don't know what you're gonna get, Mavericks. But the way people are moving, it's like, why can't you just let man come, pause, and just enjoy them, and just enjoy the way they play football.
Why are we got the real say? Why are we got just enjoy them?
But because the streets are the streets, the game is the game. And you just gotta play it, man. So yeah, Shirky, I'm watching you, my brother.
Tobs, what's your agenda this week?
What is my agenda? You know what? Now that the season's finished, I don't actually have anything new to load right now. It's probably on a Chelsea player, but they've just won the Conference League, so I got a pipe. They had a strong end to the season, so I got a pipe down. But next season, Caicedo, we will resume.
Really?
We will resume hostility.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And how about you, Yaw?
Did I not give mine already?
No, you haven't given your agenda.
Oh, agenda. Okay, who's my agenda against? Johnson. I don't care that he scored in the final, bruv. That boy he's an evil kind of player. Yeah, I've got a serious agenda about him. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Yeah, I thought Bruno Fernandes was a nasty piece of work with how he scored goals and gets assists and can sometimes go missing. But at least there are times where I can point to Bruno crashing it on teams and lifting United to the prosperous land. Johnson, them back post finishes, brother. Thank you for bringing the Europa League. But I am all on Team Leroy Sané to come and snatch this chain with the maximum amount of payment per week that needs to happen, because I've had enough of it. The boy has not beaten a defender in 2 years. I didn't think I was left, and this is the case.
Fair. Let us do the final one, which is underrated player. I know I have talent, not specifically young players, so feel free to use your football knowledge. Julian, I'll start with you. Who's your underrated player of the week?
Mika BRF from Monaco. Good striker. And the fact that he left Arsenal as well, and he's actually banging goals, makes me very happy. So, yeah. BRF. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name.
There's a cynic in me. The fact that you're struggling to pronounce his name feels like you just Googled him.
No, I Googled him so I can pronounce his name right. So BRF, yeah.
What, the guy who's gone to Monaco and he's been bagging goals for fun since he went there, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you like about his game?
I like that he's tall, strong, got a good eye for a finish, and also that he left Arsenal when they're in need of a striker, and he's banging. And I'm seeing a couple of them. Huh?
Would you take him at Liverpool?
Definitely not.
I don't know, maybe it's just me. But when I think of underrated player, there's a implication that you have this player play for your club. So for you to present a player and then say, absolutely not even that. It'll be a bit of a gap.
No, but we're on a different level. We're champions, bro.
Maybe you're underrating him.
No. But bro, we're going for guys like Verts and that. Like, you can't be telling man like Pierre to come to Liverpool and start banging it in for champions. Like, it don't go like that, man. Like, if you go to like a Aston Villa or something, yeah, like Jug, Newcastle, yeah, one of them, man. But
Not
the
champions, yeah.
No.
Disu, who's your underrated player of the week? Apologies, I caught you mid-yawn there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say, even though I think he is rated, I don't think he's rated anywhere near highly enough. And I've been saying this for many a year. Ashraf Hakimi. I've been telling people I've always thought he was better than Trent. I think he's such a great footballer. He's a right back, but if you see the numbers he's put up,
I agree.
Like they're actually very, very good numbers. And the way he plays, like your jokes. And the way he plays, like he's not inverted like you regular fullbacks. Bro's inverted and he's in the number 10 position. Like he's doing the next thing, and he's been decisive for them all throughout the year. Fast player. He's got one of the best near post finishes, period, in football, even though he's a fullback. Great touch, great at cutback, great crossing, aggressive. Like he's just been quality. I remember I was telling Dems that you lot can't afford to. I think you lot are crazy for not like keeping him. And I think did they sell him to Inter after the Dortmund stint? I think about Inter. Like you're gonna regret not having him. And then he did end up. He goes, oh, you're right. Even though Carvalho's good, but Hakimi's better. Obviously now they got Trent, but I think Hakimi's a special player. And I've got another one, and it's in the exact same position, and it's Reece James. He's been injured for a long period of time, and I think because of the injuries, and this is what I really don't like about football fans. Just because a player has been injured, you ain't seen him a long time, doesn't mean that they're still not a high level quality player. And Reece James in recent weeks for Chelsea, he has been top quality. And it's quite interesting because I think what popped this up in my mind is when I watched the video of shout out HB Harry Pinero. He was with I think Morgan Rogers, and he was asking him like, what player have you played against or played with or seen in training that's like been like wow? And he said Reece James. He goes like, bro, we're doing shooting practice, and I couldn't believe he was slapping everything top bins. And I think this was maybe England camp because he said, he took a free kick and he slapped top bins, and he's like, I've been watching that. And the shot against us with the outside of right foot, like almost similar to Pavard. The spin and cross for Cucurella, just his play, he's just a quality top footballer. So yeah, and I think he doesn't get his dues because obviously he's been injured quite a bit. Now people act like he's like some washed scrub, but no, he's just a top footballer.
Yeah. How about you, Tobs? Who's your underrated player of the week?
My underrated player is a bit of a twist. It's going to go to Mr. Kai Havertz. He's topped all of the running, power, athleticism stats, all of the stats that you can pluck out. And he's coming back for blood next season. So, yeah, my underrated player for the week is Kai Havertz.
Interesting. Should I delve into that more? I don't even know if I want to. Yaw, who's your underrated player of the week, sir?
Tobias he's a foul you. I have two. So one is an actual Spurs player who had a probably a difficult start to the season, but towards the back end of the season, especially in the Europa League, I felt like he really showed that he's got a bit of quality, and that's Destiny Udogie. I think there's something there in terms of moving forward. He just needs the right manager, and not one that just wants to have a go, mate. And for me, the other one would be and this is more. It's more to do with their Champions League run because I didn't watch Ligue 1 because who does? But it's Fabian Ruiz. Listen, I just since the Spanish team won the Euros, this guy just. I don't think there's been a game where I thought he's not been quality. Like he's just one of those unsung heroes on the pitch. Nothing too fancy, but gets the job done. And then he'll pull out, like a little bit of skill here and there. Honestly, even in that final, class. Just class.
That's a good chart. I like that one. All right, let's finish up with some listeners' questions. First one is from Anyaneme49524. Every time he sends a question, he screenshots something from the timeline as a reference point. So my question riffs off the attached picture. Do you guys think Enrique has pioneered a better possession-based playing style? Should Arsenal just pattern their style towards this rather than seemingly outdated JDP style of play pioneered by Pep?
I don't want to see teams copying other managers. Flipping, build your own damn philosophy. Like we've now got to a point. Pep has killed football. I've said this before in other chats. Pep has annoyed me. Now you got teams in flipping 8th tier of English football trying to do Pep Guardiola football. Flipping out. Work with the players that you got and design a system that works best for them. Not every team is Ajax or Barcelona and have it ingrained from kids at the age of birth all the way to flipping adulthood. It doesn't work like that. Just flipping. No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a light version of what Enrique has done at PSG. It's nonsense. Create your own stuff.
The one thing that this PSG team should have, and Enrique should have shown us this season, is that actually just sometimes believing in what you actually initially believe in. Because maybe him now, for example, actually buying some wing backs, not centre backs that are playing at fullback, will mess up what he's got going on right now, and even with his midfield. But maybe there's some inspiration that you can take from that. The fact that I personally feel like Declan Rice being like your most progressive number 8 in certain games is a bit wild. When you look at the likes of Vitinha and João Neves, maybe you can look at that and be like, all right, maybe I need someone a bit more techie. But even there's certain tangibles that you just don't have. Like you don't have the Barcola, Dembele, Doué, Kvaratskhelia front three. So, and you're not going to get that. So maybe look at what you have and accommodate to that, and maybe make them feel it, make them perform a bit better in games, maybe be more front-footed in attack, maybe keep your foot on the gas. But yeah, just kind of believe in what you're doing at the moment and just improve on that.
Calm. Next one is from Tobes Logic. What is the one key piece of business that the top 6 need to do during this summer period? I think we've kind of spoken to that when we were going around the house talking about how things have gone, so keep it moving. Next one is from 9 Jarasta. Do more wingers need to take the Dembele path and become Muslim and get married?
Yeah, they do. If I'm going to be honest. No, but Saka's a good youth, man. God's child and that. Goes to church every
Why
Sunday.
did Saka come to mind?
No, because God's child, isn't it? So Christian, God's child. So that's what Morayo, like, that's what people.
So he's rattled them with his non-answer at Formula One this week, and they're fuming. They did a damn "This How You Live" into Dembele when he was at Barca. I don't know if you guys that article that came out. It said he was up all night playing computer games and eating takeaway. Next one is from Kbook 1_. Club World Cup preview and explanation, because big man thing, why the fuck are Benfica and Porto in it? Yeah, your probably first mistake there was assuming we'd know the answer to that. So let's keep it moving. We'll probably do something closer to the time. 91 Brad 1. After Dembele's excellent year, name a player whose stocks you've never sold because you believed in the underlying talent that much. I like this one. I'm going to start with you, Disu, because you're good at holding on to stocks for a player even when the world has turned against them or doesn't rate them that much to start with.
Yeah, obviously, Eze, people call him nice player. He's okay. Can't chat to what's my man's name again? ESR. That's a special from Lewis and Dr. Lewis did that with them. Enzo's a more recent one. Ain't nobody asked me a single question about Enzo this year. I wonder why. And one that I don't know why, but I still believe João Felix. It's me and Alexis Kafkas, or what his name is.
Oh,
man. Yuck.
That's decent.
Oh, shout out Alexis Kafkas, man. Number 4. I think he's doing the go back to Benfica thing, apparently. Tobes, is there any player that you've maintained your belief in, your ratings of, your stocks in, regardless of how people have spoken about them?
Yeah, there's a couple, but the main one that springs to mind is none other than James Maddison. Every single time I have to defend what he does for Tottenham, and it should really be obvious. Is he perfect? No, but this fallacy that he's this useless player that does nothing on a football pitch for Tottenham, it will never resonate with me. So I'm just gonna keep banging that drum. So that's the main one. Obviously, there's a couple more, but yeah, that's the main one.
Banging that jerk drum. Respect. Julian.
I would say the one that comes to mind for me, and I had stocks in him since he was at Reading, was Elise. That's honestly it. But he's had a pretty consistent career. I'm genuinely trying to think of someone that I'd like.
Would you say Trent pre-Real Madrid move?
I never turned my back on him. And he's
no, but obviously, you know, everyone a lot of
everyone
he's defending, etc., etc.
I mean,
you've actually now done a 180, and I'm now seeing you question his defense.
Well, my thing was always that he could defend, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. But I'm not his lawyer no more, innit? Like I ain't got. He don't play for my club, so I can't defend him. But no, he's been pretty well rewarded throughout his career. So it's one of those where I'm like, yeah, like even him. I was actually thinking him, but he's been well rewarded throughout his career. So it'll have to be Elise. Like since Reading, I've been like, this guy is going to be top, and he has been. So yeah,
fair enough. Okay, Yaw.
Mine, well, there's not many out there really, to be honest with you. But mine, considering the season that he's had, it's not really been that great in previous seasons. Is Vinicius Jr. That's the one. I believe he can do something special, but he just needs to curb this nasty attitude that he sometimes shows on the pitch. Outside of that, I think it's quality.
Okay. But half of you didn't actually fulfill the criteria of the question, but that's fine. We'll keep it moving. Dave 166666. Yeah, 5 6s. Is all of the Mbappe slander from last night a bit harsh, given the fact that a lot of this year's PSG went into big UCL CMs like Gae, Paredes, Pereira, Rabiot, Herrera, Lo Celso, and fullbacks like Bernat, Keha, Kazawa, Munier, Florenzi?
Yep, it is. It's very much results based. Mbappe, obviously, in the last two ones with like the other two superstar talents, he wasn't the greatest. Actually, no. One of them was actually against Real Madrid the first time. He was good. That was Donnarumma and Marquinhos who sold up for them. And then the second time against Bayern, he was a ghost. But they just a significantly worse team than Bayern Munich. Yeah, I think it's quite ridiculous. The Mbappe, obviously, it looks bad on him because of. And it's not just because he left. It's everything around it. How he kind of like used his power and leverage to basically get them to hand him the keys. He made so many like big changes off the strength. They made so many big changes off the strength for what Mbappe wanted, only for him to boogie on a free same way. Do you get what I'm saying? And then they win it straight after him. Obviously, that's quite ironic, but I just don't like that level of football analysis. I think it's very stupid. And the worst thing is, it's not like Mbappe is a player that's devoid of success in his career. He was one of the best players at World Cup, aged like 19, 18. So he's literally stamped. He's stamped in world football. He's already an icon, a legend. He's a legendary football player. So all this type of stuff about, I even saw on Mozo say, should we look at Messi's legacy differently? I was thinking, what type of idiotic take is this? Like some of the takes from the game is a bit nuts. Like I think PSG's main thing, as somebody who watched PSG a lot for obvious reasons, was their biggest issue was in their first few teams, which were their better teams, Neymar kept getting injured in that period. So if you're losing your best player, it's very difficult.
Well, around February.
Yep.
Carnival,
yeah, and then
sister birthday, carnival time.
Hey, Neymar,
and then the couple times they didn't actually manage to have Neymar for the whole run, they made the final and they made the semis where they lost to City in the semis. But against City, they didn't have Mbappe. I think they have Mbappe first leg. I think he came off the bench in the second leg, but he was basically a zombie. So they're going into these ties without like their main guys really and truly. And yeah, so I think they're kind of unlucky, in my opinion. What like Mbappe and Neymar were playing and just getting dunked on every year. That just didn't happen. So
disingenuous. Final one is from Jordan. No, a couple more. Jordan Dixon 4071. When can we start having the conversation that Lucho is as good a manager as Pep? His team can recycle the ball and press as good as anybody, but they're also super dynamic in transition when opportunities present themselves, which Pep's teams lack.
Man, I need to relax.
I'm not acknowledging this. Let's just
when I spoke to you guys earlier, I was like, let's not be prisoners of the moment. But I guess I guess that happens when you see such a dominant Champions League final, you can get caught up in it. And I guess there's a conversation about, Pep when he came through, 17 years ago, and the recent iterations of City, but they're about to tool up again. They're about to sign a couple of really dynamic, talented attacking players. Watch out. Last one is from Sam the Hokage. With PSG winning the Champions League with an incredibly young squad, I believe second in Europe after Strasbourg, Chelsea a third. Don't know why I felt the need to mention that. Is the need for experience overstated, or are they the exception that proves the rule? As it isn't exactly a regular occurrence to win the Champions League whilst being this young.
I definitely feel that there is that they are the exceptions because you've seen over the last God knows how many years where even just to win trophies and to win these, especially these big trophies, you need some sort of know-how and whereabout, even if it's just a manager that's at least been in those positions. Because as much as they want to discount the players, and Luis Enrique has also been in that Champions League final position as well, so they still have that kind of know-how and experience within the organization. So I feel like with players, maybe on the pitch, I feel like they're the exception because you always have that. Even if it's a team that hasn't won it before, there's someone that's had success somewhere else, or that's even just won in general, whether it be a league or multiple leagues or cups. So I don't know, man. I feel that they're the exception, even though they have a manager that's won it before.
I mean, I know that they are a young squad, but this is what people do. Fine, the average age is young, but look at the players that they have. Donnarumma has won a trophy with Italy. Obviously, he's won club trophies as well, but at national level, he went to a final, won it for his country via a penalty shootout. Hakimi's gone to the semi-finals with Morocco, flipping out. Marquinhos has been a mainstay for Brazil for X amount of years and won multiple trophies with PSG. Flipping Dembele has been at Barcelona, played with some of the best talents in the world. Look, they might be young by age, but there's a lot of experience in that. In terms of maybe the Champions League and that team getting over the hill, what Julian's saying is completely correct. They needed a manager that obviously had been there, done that before, and knows how to get the job done, and he got the job done. But it's not like this team is a bunch of under 25-year-olds. Man, need to relax. It's a young squad. It's an average age, but there's a lot of experience in that squad.
Yeah, guys who started playing really young because they're just that good. Gents, it's always a pleasure. It's nice when we can get a few more people than just myself and Disu on. Try and pop round again in the next few weeks. Would be nice to see you. But if we don't see you, peace.
Safe.
Yo. When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.